Imagine a time long, long ago when the world map looked very different. There were no separate continents as we know them today. Instead, there was one enormous landmass, a supercontinent called Gondwana. This immense piece of land held the future continents of South America, Africa, Antarctica, Australia, and India, all joined together. Madagascar was also part of this great puzzle, nestled snugly against the side of Africa and India. It was a world connected, where animals could wander across vast, unbroken territories. Life was developing in a shared space, with similar rules and similar creatures across the land. But the Earth is a restless planet. Deep beneath the surface, immense forces were at work, slowly pulling this giant continent apart. About 160 million years ago, the first great rifts began to appear. Africa and South America started to drift away from the rest of Gondwana. Madagascar, for a time, remained attached to India. These two landmasses began their own journey, sailing away from Africa across a newly forming ocean. This geological dance was incredibly slow, a process taking millions upon millions of years, but it was the start of Madagascar's incredible story of isolation. The final crucial break happened around 88 million years ago. The land bridge connecting Madagascar to India finally snapped. India continued its incredible journey northward, eventually colliding with Asia to form the Himalayas. But Madagascar was left behind, a giant island floating alone in the vast Indian Ocean. It was now completely cut off from the rest of the world. This moment marked the true birth of Madagascar as we know it, an isolated laboratory of evolution. No longer would animals be able to walk to or from the great continents. The creatures left on this new island were on their own. This profound isolation is the key to understanding everything that makes Madagascar so special. For tens of millions of years, the life forms on this island have followed their own unique path. They did not have to compete with the new predators, like lions or tigers, that evolved on mainland Africa and Asia. They did not have to contend with the waves of new species migrating across the globe. Instead, they adapted to their island home, evolving in wonderful and often strange ways. This long, lonely voyage created a world unlike any other on Earth, a living museum of ancient life forms. The flora of Madagascar also evolved in isolation, resulting in a botanical wonderland with plants found nowhere else on Earth. Over millions of years, Madagascar's climate has shifted from lush rainforests to arid landscapes, further shaping the evolution of its inhabitants. The animals developed unique adaptations to survive in their ever-changing environment. Some, like the Aviary, became nocturnal, evolving to thrive in the dark. Insects, too, took on extraordinary forms, with vibrant colors and unusual behaviors. The island's geological activity, including volcanic eruptions and mountain formation, created diverse habitats for its inhabitants. From dense rainforests to arid deserts, Madagascar's varied landscapes provided niches for a multitude of species to evolve. Reptiles, like geckos and tortoises, developed distinct characteristics, perfectly suited to their specific environments. Birds, too, flourished, with many species found only on this isolated island. The ecosystems of Madagascar are a testament to the power of isolation and evolution, creating a world that is truly a world apart. Madagascar's journey of isolation has crafted a land of unparalleled beauty and biological diversity, a true marvel of the natural world. Imagine a vast island separated from all other land for over 80 million years. What unfolds in such isolation is a remarkable story of life adapting, diversifying, and thriving in ways found nowhere else on Earth. Cut off from the rest of the world, Madagascar became a living laboratory. Evolution accelerated as plants and animals faced unique challenges and opportunities. With no large land predators and no competition from outside species, life here could take unexpected paths. The island's isolation allowed for a process called adaptive radiation. Species that arrived or evolved here diversified rapidly, filling every available ecological niche. For example, lemurs, primates found only in Madagascar, evolved into dozens of species, each adapted to a different habitat, diet, or way of life. Some lemurs, like the Indri, grew large and powerful, leaping through the treetops. Others, like the tiny mouse lemur, became the smallest primates in the world, perfectly suited to life in the dense undergrowth. This pattern repeated across the island. Chameleons, for instance, diversified into more species here than anywhere else, each one adapted to a specific layer of the forest, from the sunlit canopy to the shadowy floor. Madagascar's landscapes are as varied as its wildlife. The island stretches nearly 1,000 miles from north to south, and this vastness creates a range of climates and habitats. On the eastern side, warm, moist winds from the Indian Ocean rise up the steep slopes, releasing heavy rainfall. This creates lush, humid rainforests where the air is thick with moisture and the ground is carpeted with ferns and mosses. Here, animals and plants have adapted to constant dampness. Orchids cling to tree trunks and frogs develop sticky pads to climb slick leaves. In stark contrast, the western side lies in the rain shadow, receiving far less precipitation. Here, the forests are dry and open, dominated by baobabs and spiny plants. Animals in this region have evolved to conserve water. Some reptiles burrow underground during the hottest hours, while certain plants store moisture in swollen stems. The southern tip of the island is even more extreme, with semi-desert conditions. The spiny forest here is filled with bizarre, drought-resistant plants, and animals like the radiated tortoise have developed tough shells and slow metabolisms to survive the arid climate. This incredible range of environments, from rain-soaked jungles to arid deserts, created countless ecological niches. Each one became a stage for new forms of life to evolve, each uniquely suited to its surroundings. Over millions of years, this process led to an astonishing level of endemism. Today, about 90% of Madagascar's plants and animals are found nowhere else. This includes not only lemurs and chameleons, but also tenrecs, small mammals that resemble hedgehogs, shrews, or even otters, each adapted to a different habitat. Endemic means that a species exists only in one place. In Madagascar, this is the rule, not the exception. Picture this. 9 out of every 10 species on the island, from the tiniest leaf-mimicking insect to the largest lemur, evolved here and nowhere else. Each is a product of adaptation to Madagascar's unique climates and habitats. Many of these species are highly specialized. The aye, for example, has a long, thin finger to extract insects from tree bark, while the giraffe weevil sports an elongated neck to help it build nests and compete for mates. Madagascar covers less than 0.5% of the world's land, yet it is home to over 5% of all known animal and plant species. This makes it one of the planet's most important biodiversity hotspots. The island is the only place where lemurs exist in the wild, and it boasts more chameleon species than any other region. Its plants, too, are remarkable. Some have evolved to attract specific pollinators, while others have developed defenses against the island's unique herbivores. From the misty mountain peaks to the vibrant coral reefs offshore, every corner of Madagascar offers a different environment, each fostering its own set of adaptations and new species. Madagascar stands as a living testament to the power of evolution in isolation. Its landscapes, climates, and ecological niches have shaped a world of life found nowhere else. A true natural wonder, shaped by time and the forces of nature alone. Journey with me to the late Cretaceous period, more than 70 million years ago, when Madagascar was a world apart, an island adrift, its life evolving in splendid isolation. At this time, Madagascar was already separated from Africa and India, surrounded by vast, ancient seas. Its landscapes were wild and untamed, dominated by dense, humid forests, sprawling swamps, and winding rivers that carved through the lush floodplains. The air was thick with heat and moisture, and the land teemed with life forms found nowhere else on Earth. Here, evolution took a unique path, shaping creatures both strange and spectacular. Towering above the ferns and cycads, herds of giant dinosaurs roamed the land. Among them, the mighty Majungasaurus reigned as the island's top predator. This formidable theropod, with its powerful legs and thick domed skull, stalked the shadows of the ancient forests. Majungasaurus was a true terror of its time, growing over 7 meters long and weighing more than a ton. Its jaws were lined with sharp teeth, and its bite was strong enough to crush bone. Fossil evidence reveals a chilling truth. Majungasaurus was not only a hunter, but also a cannibal, preying on its own kind when food was scarce. Yet even this apex predator faced challenges. The island was also home to the colossal Repetosaurus, a gentle giant among dinosaurs. This long-necked sauropod could stretch over 15 meters from nose to tail, its massive body supported by pillar-like legs, as it browsed on the treetops and lush undergrowth. The lives of these giants were intertwined in a delicate balance. While adult Repetosaurus were too large for most predators, their young and weak were vulnerable, and the ever-watchful Majungasaurus would not hesitate to seize an opportunity. The drama of predator and prey played out across the floodplains, shaping the very fabric of Madagascar's ancient ecosystem. Each species carved out its own niche, from the smallest scavenger to the largest herbivore. But dinosaurs were not the only remarkable inhabitants of this lost world. Lurking in the muddy shallows and beneath the tangled roots of the swamps was a creature as bizarre as any dinosaur, Beelzebufo, the devil frog. Beelzebufo was a giant among amphibians, as large as a soccer ball and weighing nearly 5 kilograms. Its body was armored with thick, bumpy skin, and its mouth gaped wide, lined with powerful jaws. This monstrous frog was an ambush predator, lying in wait for unsuspecting prey. With a sudden lunge, it could snap up anything small enough to fit in its cavernous mouth. Lizards, small mammals, even the hatchlings of dinosaurs. Scientists believe Beelzebufo's bite was strong enough to crush the shells of turtles and the bones of baby dinosaurs, making it one of the most formidable amphibians to ever live. In the tangled web of prehistoric Madagascar, every creature played a vital role. The dinosaurs shaped the forests as they fed and moved, the devil frog kept smaller animals in check, and the constant struggle for survival drove evolution in unexpected directions. This ancient island was a world of giants and monsters, of strange alliances and deadly rivalries, a world lost to time, but preserved in the rocks and bones beneath Madagascar's red earth. Around 66 million years ago, a catastrophic event changed the world forever. A massive asteroid struck the Earth, leading to the extinction of the dinosaurs and many other species. Madagascar, like the rest of the planet, was profoundly affected. The age of giant reptiles was over. But in the quiet that followed, a new chapter began on the isolated island. With the great dinosaurs gone, new opportunities opened up for the surviving animals. Madagascar's ancient forests, thick with ferns and towering trees, became a cradle for new life. Mammals and birds which had lived in the shadows of the dinosaurs began to evolve in spectacular new ways, growing to incredible sizes. These animals filled the empty niches left behind, each adapting to the unique rhythms of the island. The most magnificent of these new giants was the elephant bird, or Epiornis. This flightless bird of truly epic proportions towered over the landscape, standing over 3 meters tall and weighing up to half a ton. It was the heaviest bird that has ever lived. The elephant bird roamed the forests and open scrublands, moving with slow, deliberate steps. Its massive beak was perfectly suited for browsing on tough vegetation, and it spent its days foraging among the dense undergrowth, using its keen sense of smell to locate fruit, seeds, and leaves. Despite their size, elephant birds were gentle giants, rarely aggressive, and often gathered in loose groups to feed. Their presence shaped the landscape as they dispersed seeds and trampled paths through the thick vegetation, creating clearings that allowed sunlight to reach the forest floor. Perhaps the most remarkable feature of the elephant bird was its egg. The elephant bird laid the largest eggs of any known animal, even bigger than most dinosaur eggs. A single egg could weigh nearly 10 kilograms and was equivalent to about 150 chicken eggs. These colossal eggs, hidden among the roots and ferns, were a testament to the sheer scale of life on the island. But the elephant bird was not the only giant. Madagascar also became home to giant lemurs, primates unlike any found elsewhere.
Today's lemurs are relatively small, but their ancestors were giants, perfectly adapted to the island's forests. One of the largest was Megalodapis, sometimes called the koala lemur. This slow-moving, tree-climbing creature was the size of a large sheep, with long, powerful arms and a robust body. Megalodapis spent its days high in the canopy, gripping branches with its strong hands and feeding on tough leaves that few other animals could digest. In the lower forest and on the ground, even larger lemurs roamed. Archaeoindris, the largest of all, grew to the size of a male gorilla. This massive primate moved slowly through the undergrowth, using its strength to pull down branches and strip leaves, shaping the forest as it fed. These giant lemurs lived in complex social groups, communicating with deep calls that echoed through the forest. Their interactions with each other and with the environment helped maintain the delicate balance of Madagascar's ecosystems. Alongside the primates and birds, giant tortoises lumbered through Madagascar's grasslands and forests. These ancient reptiles, far larger than their modern relatives, grazed on low vegetation and wallowed in muddy pools to escape the midday heat. Their slow movements and long lifespans made them living monuments to the island's ancient past. There were also pygmy hippos, which, despite their name, were still large and powerful animals. These hippos spent their days wallowing in rivers and lakes, emerging at dusk to graze on lush riverbank vegetation. Over generations, they adapted to the island's unique conditions, becoming smaller than their mainland ancestors in a process known as island dwarfism. For thousands of years, this incredible collection of giant birds, primates, tortoises, and hippos thrived together. They shaped the land and each other's lives, forming a web of interactions that made Madagascar's ecosystem one of the most extraordinary on Earth. In this world apart, the reign of the Mega-fauna was a time of abundance, diversity, and wonder, a chapter in natural history that will never be seen again.
For millions of years, Madagascar was a world apart, a living laboratory shaped by the slow dance of geology and biology. Continental drift set the stage, isolating the island from Africa and India, while shifting climates sculpted its landscapes into a mosaic of rainforests, dry, spiny forests, and highland plateaus. In this untouched paradise, life flourished in splendid isolation. Unique species evolved, each filling a special role in the web of life. Giant lemurs roamed the forests, feeding on fruits and leaves, their movements shaping the growth of trees and spreading seeds across the land. Elephant birds, towering and flightless, grazed the open woodlands, their massive size helping to clear paths and create new spaces for plants to grow. The fossa, Madagascar's top predator, kept populations in balance while chameleons, frogs, and insects pollinated flowers and controlled pests. Every species, from the tiniest insect to the tallest baobab, was part of a delicate balance. Orchids relied on specific moths for pollination, while lemurs and fruit bats spread seeds far and wide. The forests themselves were living tapestries, woven together by countless interactions, roots stabilizing the soil, canopies sheltering the understory, and streams nourishing all life. Rivers and streams flowed clear and undisturbed, supporting a rich diversity of fish, amphibians, and aquatic plants. The air was alive with the calls of lemurs, the flutter of wings and the rustle of leaves, each sound a note in the symphony of Madagascar's natural paradise. For millions of years, this world thrived in harmony, its ecosystems evolving together, untouched by outside influence, a true Eden set apart from the rest of the world. Madagascar was once home to a remarkable array of giant animals known as the Mega-fauna, who had evolved in splendid isolation over millions of years. These giants thrived in unique ecosystems, shaped by the island's ever-changing climate and natural forces. Over time, Madagascar's climate shifted, bringing periods of drought and changing rainfall patterns that gradually altered the landscape. Many of the island's largest animals had slow reproductive rates, making it difficult for their populations to recover from natural disasters or prolonged resource shortages. As habitats changed and resources became scarce, some species struggled to adapt, leading to a gradual decline in their numbers. The extinction of these giants was a slow and somber process, marked by the disappearance of species that had once dominated the island. Among the first to vanish was the magnificent elephant bird. Towering above the forest floor and weighing half a ton, the elephant bird was a symbol of Madagascar's ancient grandeur. Its enormous eggs, the largest of any bird, were once scattered across the land, a testament to its size and presence. As forests gradually receded due to natural climate shifts, the elephant bird's habitat shrank, leaving it with fewer places to nest and feed. It is believed that the last elephant bird disappeared around 1,000 years ago, its absence marking the end of an era. Today, only subfossil bones and the colossal empty shells of its eggs remain, silent witnesses to a lost world. The giant lemurs, too, faced a similar fate. Species like the gorilla-sized Archaeoindris and the slow-climbing Megalodapis vanished as their specialized habitats dwindled. These large primates, adapted to a stable and abundant environment, could not survive the ecological upheavals that swept the island. As the intricate web of life unraveled, the giants that depended on it faded away. Imagine a world where primates the size of bears lived in the trees, a world that existed in Madagascar until very recently in geological terms. Their extinction represents the loss of an entire branch of primate evolution, a diversity now known only through the study of their bones. This wave of extinctions was not limited to birds and primates. The giant tortoises and the pygmy hippos also disappeared, unable to adapt to the changing environment. The entire cast of prehistoric giants that had defined Madagascar since the time of the dinosaurs was lost. This period of extinction, driven by natural forces and ecological change, stands as a powerful reminder of the delicate balance of life. Even the most stable ecosystems can be vulnerable to shifts in climate and environment. The paradise that had existed for millions of years was fundamentally and permanently changed, leaving behind only traces of the giants that once roamed this extraordinary island. Madagascar, though it has lost its giants, remains a sanctuary of extraordinary life. Its isolation has allowed evolution to run wild, producing a dazzling array of creatures found nowhere else on Earth. Here, the forests pulse with the energy of living treasures, each with a story millions of years in the making. The evolutionary forces that once shaped the elephant bird and giant lemurs continue to sculpt the island's inhabitants. Madagascar's wildlife is a living testament to nature's creativity, with adaptations and behaviors as remarkable as the creatures themselves. Among the most iconic are the lemurs, primates whose ancestors arrived on drifting vegetation from Africa some 50 to 60 million years ago. Isolated from other primates, they radiated into over 100 species, each filling a unique ecological niche. Lemurs are the soul of Madagascar's forests. Their social lives are complex, with some species living in large matriarchal groups, while others are solitary and elusive. Many lemurs are vital seed dispersers, ensuring the survival of the very forests they call home. The diversity of lemurs is astonishing. Some, like the ring-tailed lemur, are famous for their sunbathing rituals, warming themselves in the early light. Others, such as the indri, communicate with haunting melodic calls that echo through the misty canopy. At one extreme is the mouse lemur, the world's smallest primate. Weighing less than 50 grams, it fits easily in the palm of a hand. These nocturnal creatures rely on their enormous eyes to navigate the darkness, leaping nimbly through the undergrowth in search of insects and fruit. At the other end is the indri, the largest living lemur. With its powerful legs, the indri bounds through the treetops, rarely descending to the ground. Its song, a series of eerie, rising wails, can be heard for miles, marking territory and strengthening family bonds. The ring-tailed lemur, with its bold black and white tail, is one of the few lemurs that spends much of its time on the ground. These social animals live in troops led by dominant females, using scent markings and vocalizations to communicate and defend their territory. Perhaps the strangest of all is the aii. With its bat-like ears and elongated middle finger, it taps on wood to locate grubs, then gnaws holes and extracts its prey with surgical precision, a feeding strategy found nowhere else among primates. Yet Madagascar's wonders extend far beyond its primates. The island is a haven for reptiles and amphibians, each with their own evolutionary marvels. Madagascar is home to more than half of the world's chameleon species. The Parsons chameleon, one of the largest, can reach lengths of over 60 centimeters, while the Brookesia micra is so tiny it can perch atop a match head. Chameleons here are masters of camouflage, shifting colors to communicate, regulate temperature, or blend into their surroundings. Their projectile tongues, sometimes longer than their bodies, snatch insects with lightning speed. Towering above the landscape are the legendary baobab trees, with their swollen trunks and root-like branches. They appear as if planted upside down. These ancient giants are perfectly adapted to Madagascar's harsh climate. Some baobabs are over 2,000 years old, their trunks storing thousands of liters of water to survive the long dry seasons. Their flowers bloom at dusk, attracting bats and lemurs that pollinate them, while their nutritious fruit sustains countless animals. The island's top predator, the fossa, is a sleek, agile hunter. Resembling a cross between a cat and a mongoose, it is perfectly adapted for life in the trees, preying primarily on lemurs. Its flexible ankles and semi-retractable claws allow it to leap and climb with astonishing skill. The fossa is a living relic, a reminder of Madagascar's ancient past. Watching it move through the forest is like glimpsing a shadow from a lost world, a predator that has ruled these forests since the days of the Mega-fauna. Madagascar's living treasures are not limited to animals. The island's plants are equally unique, from carnivorous pitcher plants that trap insects to rare orchids and the spiny forests of the south, where drought-resistant succulents thrive. These ancient baobabs stand as silent, living monuments to Madagascar's resilience, a testament to the island's ability to endure and adapt through the ages. In every corner of this remarkable land, life has found a way, creating a world apart, one of nature's greatest masterpieces. Despite its incredible beauty and uniqueness, Madagascar's wildlife faces a multitude of threats that extend far beyond the actions of people. The island is frequently battered by powerful cyclones and storms, which can devastate large swathes of forest, uproot ancient trees, and alter entire habitats in a matter of hours. These natural disasters can lead to flooding and landslides, further destabilizing the delicate balance of Madagascar's ecosystems. Another major threat comes from invasive species, plants and animals that have found their way to Madagascar and now compete with native species for resources. Invasive rodents, for example, prey on the eggs and young of native birds and reptiles, while non-native insects can outcompete or even destroy local plant life. As these invaders spread, they disrupt food webs and threaten the survival of Madagascar's highly specialized wildlife. Invasive diseases, such as fungal infections, can sweep through forests, killing off native plants and weakening the foundation of entire ecosystems. Environmental changes, including shifting rainfall patterns and prolonged droughts, are also taking a toll. Extended dry periods can leave rivers and streams empty, stressing both plants and animals that depend on these vital water sources. Natural forest fires, sparked by lightning during the dry season, can sweep through large areas, destroying habitats and forcing wildlife to flee. As habitats become more fragmented due to these natural forces, many species find themselves isolated, unable to reach new areas or find mates. The consequences for Madagascar's wildlife are profound. Disease, starvation, and dwindling populations threaten even the most resilient creatures. Predators like the fossa struggle as their prey becomes scarce and their territories shrink due to environmental upheaval. Lemurs, already among the world's most endangered mammals, are especially vulnerable to these changes, as many can only survive in very specific habitats. Even Madagascar's extraordinary plants and fungi are at risk as invasive species and environmental stresses threaten their survival and the intricate relationships they support. Researchers work tirelessly to understand these natural threats, hoping to find ways to protect the island's irreplaceable biodiversity. The challenges are immense, and the future of Madagascar's wildlife hangs in the balance, not just from human actions, but from the powerful forces of nature and the relentless advance of invasive species. The clock is ticking, and the stakes for this unique world could not be higher. Madagascar's wild places have faced unimaginable challenges, and the scars of loss are visible across its landscapes. Yet even in the quietest corners, nature's resilience is on full display. The forests, battered and fragmented, are not silent. They are alive with the sounds of recovery. Lemurs once driven away return to regrown groves, leaping from branch to branch as new leaves unfurl. Chameleons, masters of adaptation, blend into the shifting tapestry of green, finding new niches as the forest heals. The island's unique creatures have evolved over millions of years to survive in a world of change. When fire or storm clears a patch of forest, hardy plants are the first to return, anchoring the soil and welcoming insects and birds. Slowly the web of life is rewoven. Orchids cling to new branches, frogs sing in temporary pools, and the forest's canopy thickens, sheltering a growing chorus of life. In the absence of human interference, natural cycles of disturbance and renewal create a dynamic balance. Predators and prey, pollinators and plants, all play their part in restoring harmony. Some species, like the tenrec and the iai, thrive in the shadows, adapting to new food sources and habitats as the land transforms. Others, like the towering baobabs, stand as living monuments to endurance, their roots holding firm through drought and flood. Over time, the forest's patchwork grows denser, streams run clearer, and the air fills with the calls of birds and the rustle of leaves. Each returning species brings new energy, helping to restore the delicate balance that makes Madagascar so extraordinary. The resilience of Madagascar's wildlife is a testament to the power of adaptation. Even after great loss, life finds a way, reclaiming, renewing, and rebalancing the world it calls home. In this ongoing story of survival, every seed that sprouts and every animal that returns is a symbol of hope, a reminder that nature, given time and space, can heal itself. Madagascar's lost world is not truly lost. Its wonders endure, waiting to inspire awe in all who witness the quiet miracle of recovery. As long as the forests stand and the creatures adapt, the spirit of Madagascar will survive, resilient, wild and full of hope for generations yet to come. As daylight fades over Madagascar, a different world awakens. Shadows deepen and the forest is transformed by the soft glow of the moon. Here in the darkness, some of the island's most extraordinary creatures emerge, masters of the night, perfectly adapted to a world unseen by the sun. High in the canopy, the ii begins its secretive search for food. with luminous eyes built for piercing the gloom. This enigmatic lemur taps along branches with an elongated skeletal finger, listening for the hollow echo of insect tunnels. Once detected, it gnaws through bark with rodent-like teeth, extracting hidden grubs with surgical precision. The eye's unusual appearance and technique are unmatched, making it one of the most specialized nocturnal foragers on Earth. Elsewhere, the forest's leaves shimmer with the movements of Madagascar's many geckos. The leaf-tailed gecko, nearly invisible against mottled bark, clings motionless in wait. Its flattened body and fringed skin erase its outline, a living shadow blending seamlessly with its surroundings. When prey approaches, the gecko strikes with lightning speed, its sticky toes gripping even the slickest surfaces. Tiny mouse lemurs, no larger than a tennis ball, dart through the undergrowth. Their oversized eyes gather every trace of light, while sensitive whiskers guide them through tangled branches. Agile and alert, they feast on fruit, nectar, and insects, playing a vital role in pollination and seed dispersal beneath the stars. Above, the night air fills with the soft flutter of moths and the delicate calls of nocturnal frogs. Each sound and movement weaves into a symphony of survival as predators and prey navigate the intricate dance of darkness. These nocturnal wonders are more than just rare curiosities. They are essential threads in Madagascar's ecological tapestry. By pollinating flowers, dispersing seeds, and controlling insect populations, they help sustain the forest's fragile balance. Their unique adaptations are testaments to the island's evolutionary creativity, forged in the crucible of isolation and time. As dawn approaches, these hidden guardians retreat, leaving only faint traces of their nightly journeys. The sun will soon reveal a world seemingly unchanged, but beneath the surface, the night's quiet miracles endure, reminding us that Madagascar's greatest treasures often lie just out of sight, waiting for those willing to look beyond the light. As the first rays of sunlight filter through the forest canopy, a different kind of wonder is revealed, one rooted deep in the ancient soils of Madagascar. This is the realm of the island's rare and endemic plants, a green kingdom as unique as the creatures that call it home. Towering above the landscape, the iconic baobabs stand sentinel. With swollen, bottle-shaped trunks and sparse crowns, these upside-down trees are living reservoirs, storing water through the long, dry season. Their presence shapes entire ecosystems, providing shelter for birds, insects, and countless other organisms. Baobab flowers, large and creamy, unfurl at dusk, drawing nocturnal pollinators like bats and lemurs, who in turn help the trees reproduce. Beneath the baobab's gaze, the forest floor bursts with color and intrigue. Madagascar is home to more than 1,000 species of orchids, most found nowhere else on Earth. Some, like the ghostly Angraecum sesquipedale, have evolved remarkable relationships with local pollinators. Its long, slender nectar spur can only be reached by a specific species of moth, a partnership so precise that it puzzled even Charles Darwin. In the island's rain-soaked corners, carnivorous plants lurk among the moss and leaf litter. Pitcher plants and sundews, adapted to nutrient-poor soils, have turned to hunting insects for survival. Their unusual forms, slick, slippery tubes and sticky, glistening tentacles, are both beautiful and deadly, a testament to nature's ingenuity. These botanical marvels are more than just rare curiosities. They are the silent architects of Madagascar's biodiversity, shaping habitats, cycling nutrients, and supporting entire food webs. Each species tells a story of adaptation and resilience, forged in isolation over millions of years. Yet, like the island's animals, Madagascar's plants face mounting threats. Deforestation, climate change, and invasive species endanger this living legacy. Protecting these green treasures is vital, not only for the island, but for the future of life on Earth. In the heart of Madagascar, the forests pulse with hidden life. Here, among baobabs and orchids, the story of evolution continues to unfold, rooted in mystery, beauty, and survival. Beneath the canopy, where sunlight dapples the leaf litter and moss, an entirely different kingdom thrives. Welcome to Madagascar's micro-marvels, the insects that drive the island's ecosystems, often unseen but always essential. Take the giraffe weevil, a tiny architect with an extraordinary neck. Males sport elongated snouts, sometimes twice the length of their bodies, used in delicate duels for mates and for crafting intricate nests from curled leaves. Females, meanwhile, use their shorter necks to roll and secure eggs in leafy cradles, ensuring the next generation's survival. Fluttering through the twilight, the comet moth is a living jewel. With luminous yellow wings and trailing tails as long as your hand, this moth is among the largest in the world. Its entire adult life lasts just a few days, enough time to find a mate before fading away. In larval form, comet moth caterpillars feast on rainforest leaves, recycling nutrients back into the soil and nourishing the plants that sustain the forest. Hidden in the undergrowth, Madagascar's hissing cockroaches play an unexpected role as forest custodians. Unlike their urban relatives, these gentle giants break down rotting wood and fallen leaves, turning debris into rich soil. Their signature hiss isn't just for show. It's a form of communication, a warning to rivals and a serenade to potential mates. Each insect species, from the dazzling to the humble, occupies a vital niche. Pollinators like bees and butterflies ensure the survival of orchids and baobabs. Decomposers clear away the old, making space for the new. Predators and prey, builders and recyclers, the island's insects weave a complex tapestry of life, connecting every corner of the ecosystem. In Madagascar's hidden world, the smallest creatures make the biggest difference. Their lives, brief but brilliant, sustain the wonders above and below the forest floor, reminding us that even the tiniest marvels are essential to the island's enduring legacy. Beneath the tangled roots and shadowy banks, Madagascar's freshwater habitats come alive with hidden wonders. Here, clear streams and still ponds are home to a cast of aquatic specialists found nowhere else on Earth. Glide beneath the surface, and you'll meet the rainbow-hued Madagascar rainbowfish. These shimmering swimmers flash brilliant blues and oranges to attract mates, their scales sparkling in the dappled light. In these waters, rainbowfish form loose schools, darting through submerged branches, feeding on tiny insects and algae. Nearby, the tomato frog lurks in the mud, its vivid red-orange skin a warning to would-be predators. When threatened, this amphibian puffs up, secreting a sticky toxin that deters even the hungriest hunter. Tomato frog tadpoles graze on algae, helping keep the waterways clean, while adults feast on insects that skim the water's surface. In the slow-moving streams, the Malagasy killifish displays an astonishing adaptation. Its eggs can survive months of drought, lying dormant in the dry mud until rains return. When the pools refill, a new generation hatches, perfectly timed to the rhythms of the island's seasons. Beneath the stones, freshwater shrimp and snails graze on algae and detritus, recycling nutrients and keeping the ecosystem in balance. Their constant work creates clear waters for fish and amphibians to thrive. Predators, too, have found their niche. The enigmatic Madagascar aquatic beetle prowls the shallows, hunting larvae and small crustaceans with swift, precise strikes. Even dragonfly nymphs camouflaged among the reeds play their part as voracious underwater hunters. Each species is finely tuned to its watery world. Some fish breathe air to survive in oxygen-poor pools, while others lay eggs that cling to submerged leaves. Frogs and invertebrates rely on the seasonal ebb and flow, their life cycles intertwined with the pulse of Madagascar's rains. Together, these aquatic marvels form a web of interactions, predators and prey, cleaners and grazers, all linked in a delicate dance. In Madagascar's secret streams and pools, life flourishes in a symphony of adaptation and survival, unseen yet vital to the island's enduring magic. In the shadowy forests and tangled thickets of Madagascar, a silent battle has raged for millions of years. Here, every creature is both hunter and hunted, locked in a relentless evolutionary arms race. To survive, they've developed astonishing strategies: camouflage, mimicry, and deception, each more ingenious than the last. Look closely at the forest floor, and you might spot a leaf-tailed gecko, or perhaps you won't, perfectly blending into bark and moss. Its jagged outline and mottled skin make it nearly invisible to both predators and prey. When danger approaches, it flattens against a branch, becoming a living shadow. Elsewhere, the mantid's disguise is a masterpiece. Shaped like a wilted leaf, it sways gently in the breeze, luring unsuspecting insects within reach of its lightning-fast strike. Some insects, in turn, have evolved to mimic ants, Madagascar's fierce army of defenders. By copying their appearance and movements, these imposters avoid being eaten by predators that fear the ants' painful bites. But the arms race doesn't end with camouflage. The Malagasy giant hognose snake, with its upturned snout, feasts on frogs that have developed toxic skins and warning colors. In response, the snake has evolved a tolerance to their poisons, pushing the frogs to develop even more potent defenses. Above, the Madagascar cuckoo hawk glides silently through the canopy, its mottled feathers breaking up its outline against the patchwork of sunlight and leaves. It hunts chameleons, which themselves can change color to match their surroundings, vanishing before the hawk's piercing gaze. In this intricate web, every adaptation is met with a countermove. Prey become harder to find, predators become more cunning. This is the great game of survival, a never-ending contest of wits and will, shaping Madagascar's wildlife into some of the most extraordinary creatures on Earth. In the hidden corners of the island, where eyes and wings and scales are locked in perpetual contest, the story of life is written in the language of adaptation. Here, survival is an art form, and every creature is both masterpiece and master strategist. In the dappled light of Madagascar's forests, a symphony unfolds each dawn, one composed not by human hands, but by the island's extraordinary birds. Here, evolution has produced an aviary of wonders, each species a living note in the melody of life. Take the vangas, a family of birds found nowhere else on Earth. Their beaks come in all shapes and sizes, each perfectly adapted for a different job, cracking seeds, probing tree bark, or snatching insects from the air. In a single patch of forest, you might find a blue vanga flitting through the canopy, a sickle-billed vanga prying open logs, and a helmet vanga perched in silence, its striking blue cheeks glowing in the morning sun. On the forest floor, the ground rollers patrol like tiny sentinels. Their emerald and chestnut feathers flash as they dart after insects and small lizards. With their low, irresonant calls, they announce their presence, keeping in touch through the tangle of roots and leaves. And then there are the kuas, Madagascar's secretive storytellers. With their long tails and subtle colors, they slip like shadows through the undergrowth. Their soft, melodious songs drift through the forest, each note a message to friends, rivals, or perhaps to the forest itself. Each bird plays a vital role. Vangas keep insect populations in check. Ground rollers aerate the soil as they forage. Kuas disperse seeds, helping new plants take root. Together they weave an invisible web that supports the entire ecosystem. In Madagascar, the birds are more than just voices in the trees. They are architects, gardeners, and guardians of the wild. Their songs and stories echo through the forests, a living testament to the island's endless creativity and the delicate balance that sustains it. As the sun arcs across Madagascar's sky, the island's life pulses to the rhythm of its ever-shifting seasons. Unlike the familiar 4 seasons of temperate lands, Madagascar's year is marked by 2 great forces: the wet season's generous rains and the dry season's lingering drought. With the first drops of rain, the land awakens. Rivers swell and forests shimmer in fresh green. Frogs emerge from hiding, their calls echoing through the night as they rush to breed in temporary pools. Leaf-tailed geckos shed their camouflage to hunt among the dripping leaves, while chameleons change their colors with the moods of the weather, blending perfectly with the lush, rain-soaked world. But as the rains retreat and the dry season arrives, the forest transforms, streams shrink to hidden trickles, and leaves curl against the sun's relentless heat. Lemurs gather at the last waterholes, sharing precious sips. The baobab trees, ancient sentinels, store water in their swollen trunks, offering shelter and sustenance to countless creatures. Insects retreat underground, seeds lie dormant, and animals conserve energy, waiting for the promise of rain. Adaptation is survival. Tenrecs, with their spiky fur, enter a state of torpor to endure the lean months. Some birds time their nesting to the bounty of the wet season, ensuring their chicks hatch when food is plentiful. Plants drop their leaves or grow thick, waxy coatings to guard against thirst. In this ceaseless dance of wet and dry, every creature on Madagascar has found its own way to thrive. The island's ever-changing weather is not a challenge to be overcome, but a partner in the great choreography of life, guiding when to hide, when to sing, when to bloom, and when to rest. Here, survival is an art, painted in the colors of rain and sun, and every heartbeat echoes the ancient music of the seasons. Beneath the branches and along the forest floor, Madagascar's story is one of connection, an invisible web binding species together in delicate partnership. Here, the black and white ruffed lemur becomes more than a forager. It is a gardener of the forest. As it feasts on the nectar of towering travelers' palms, pollen dusts its fur. With each leap, the lemur unwittingly pollinates the next flower, ensuring the palm's future and its own supply of sweet nectar. Elsewhere, the hawk moth's midnight flight is guided by the scent of the comet orchid. Its long, slender tongue is perfectly matched to the orchid's deep nectar spur, a partnership millions of years in the making. Only the moth can reach the nectar, and only the moth can carry the orchid's pollen to another waiting bloom. On the forest floor, the tiny tenrec snuffles among fallen fruit, scattering seeds that will one day become towering trees. In return, these trees provide shelter and food for generations of tenrecs. Even the baobab, with its swollen trunk and ancient bark, is part of the web. Bats swoop at dusk, drawn by the promise of baobab flowers. As they drink the flower's nectar, pollen clings to their fur, carried from tree to tree as they travel the night sky. In Madagascar, survival is rarely a solo act. Mutualism, pollination, seed dispersal, every partnership forms a thread in the tapestry of life. Each species depends on another, and together they build a world more resilient and wondrous than any could alone. This is the secret strength of Madagascar, not just its rare creatures, but the ancient alliances that bind them. In every flower visited, every seed carried, every shared moment of survival, the island's web of life grows stronger, weaving a future shaped by the power of partnership. Across Madagascar, survival is a daily challenge. Storms lash the forests, droughts parch the land, fires, ignited by lightning, sweep across the grasslands. Yet the island's wild inhabitants have learned to endure. The eye, with its eerie fingers, prowls the night, adapting its diet as seasons shift. Chameleons, masters of disguise, change their colors not just for camouflage, but to regulate their body temperature as the climate swings. The radiated tortoise, ancient and patient, retreats into its shell during dry spells, waiting for the rains to return. But resilience has its limits. For some, the margins grow thinner each year. The silky sifaka clings to shrinking forests, its family calls echoing where ancient trees once stood. The tomato frog burrows deep into the earth, surviving months without water, emerging only when the rains bring hope of new life. The elusive fossa prowls greater distances, its keen senses searching for prey in a world that grows more unpredictable. Despite these hardships, life persists. The baobab stores water in its swollen trunk, standing as a living reservoir when all else withers. Seeds lie dormant for months, waiting for the perfect moment to burst into life. In every corner of Madagascar, adaptation is the law, and each creature writes its own story of survival. Here, the struggle is fierce, but so is the will to endure. Madagascar's wild wonders balance on the edge of change, shaped by nature's challenges and by their own astonishing resilience.